Hello, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about the Oncidiums and see how they look after about 3 weeks of semi-neglect. They were not completely neglected. I did give them a good water prior to surgery, but they were also given a little drink of water in between. So I will take them each down. Let's kind of look them over. I did give them a drink yesterday because they were quite droopy. And let's see what we can find. Now this is where the bulk of the Oncidiums are. The rest of them are going to be over here. And since we're over here, let's just look at those real quick. So Sherry Baby Mama that was put into LECA right before surgery. Let's see, when was that? In October, I think it was. Let me see. Nope, in November. So she is actually continuing to work on these new growths. Let me just move some of this leaf out of the way there. There's that. And then this one that was in the middle is coming through. And what I did with her is I just filled her all the way up, and she recently has been flushed, and she now has some fertilizer in there, the MSU fertilizer, at about 50 parts per million, because I'm sure there's roots in there. I haven't dug around, but for those of us who grow Oncidiums 99% of the time, and in my experience with this Sherry Baby, about this size, she's already got quite a few roots up underneath there. We'll do a Sherry Baby update in a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, and we'll dig in there and see what's going on. Then I have one of the Twinkles still in this spot, and as you can see, she's got some leaf tip dieback right here, well, a leaf die, and that is just because they did not get as much. They were just kind of getting the little misting, and I believe that's the only Oncidiums I have over here. The rest of them I had on the table. All right, well, let me put you on the tripod, and then we'll see what else we've got going on. All right, so we're going to start with the Sherry Baby number 2. That is in a bark and moss mixture. And I did freshen up the bark and the moss. So this is a small Orchiata Bark you can get from the Orchid Supply Store, which is a sponsor here on our channel. I will, as always, have a link to their website in the description below. And at checkout, if you use coupon code TRISH, you can get 12% off of everything. Remember, spring is coming. Lots of us have some repotting to do, or maybe you want to freshen up a pot. They've got decorative pots. You name it, they got it. Go get it. Anywho, so she actually did really, really well. Finished off her newest growths. I don't see any new growth going on in there, but as you can see, she looks very happy, healthy. And let's see if we can see some new roots. So the roots that I do see are the existing root system that she had prior to going in. And this one is actually going to one of the ladies on Facebook that as soon as spring comes, I'm going to just ship it out to her and get rid of one of my Sherry Babies, since I do have the big one, and then I have the one down here. Let's just pull her out. She's right here. This one here, which is in LECA, that I grew from this back bulb. So she's doing pretty good. So you can see these roots are out, but let's just take her out. I was looking, oh, she's dusty as all get out. But look, her roots are starting to come out through the pot. And we have some, let's see if I can get that in camera, on that side as well. So she's establishing herself. I'm going to have to figure out something to do with that. For now, we'll just leave her down there, but let's put there. And there's also a grow light right up here, and then the east-facing window is where they were getting the bulk of their light. Then we have the Red Fantasy that I got from Nicole Deanne back in July of 2021. Was it 2021? It was 2021. And I did put her in this setup at the same time, and just look at the roots on this one. Like, she is just loving life. This is 90% moss with some bark throughout to help with aeration. She has given me so she did 2 new growths in 2021. 2022, she did 1, 2, 3. So she did this growth, and then this one back here. And so far we have a new growth here, a new growth here. She's got one right in there coming. So she is coming into her own. And the bulbs, I'm trying to compare. So the bulbs are almost all the same. I need to get this size bulb. So this is the size bulb that she came to me with, and this is what I need to work towards. But hoping that eventually one of these will bless us with blooms. So she also has a chocolate fragrance. She is in the Sherry Baby family as well. We'll just put her back right there. And then we have the Orange Kiss, which I got from Brookside Orchid back in February of 2021. She has consistently bloomed for me off of each new growth. And this latest new growth right here is poor as it looks because this was her previous growth. Do you see that bulb back there and how yucky that bulb looks? Needless to say, let me see if we can just bring the camera up. Give me a second here. Sorry for the wiggle wobble, but look at that spike. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. So I believe she will be in spike by February because it does take her a few months to get this. Whoops, sorry, not so jerky there. It does take her a little bit to get that spike going, and then of course she wasn't getting any nutrients to help support that spike, and they did get a little bit of feed to help with that, but she is now starting to come out of the pot at the bottom and on the sides. So the next repot she gets, I am going to put her into a pot without the side holes. Just, I mean, as much as I love when they eat the pot, it's the repotting that I don't like. So let me get her back in her spot. And then we have the Yellow King that, let's see, let me see if I can do this without breaking the spike. So now she has been, or he has been in spike for quite some time and is just now starting to kind of separate from the stem, as you can see. And so it does take a while, but kind of suffered. Let me move this leaf. Do you see how desiccated this bulb right here is? So she did get quite dehydrated, lost a couple of new leaves from the dehydration. We've got several of the leaves with the leaf tip dieback from not getting enough moisture. And as you can tell, these leaves are the droopiest of them all. But we do have this here growth that hopefully will mature and bloom as well. I've had this one since December of 2021, so she is actually blooming on cue. December, I mean it's January, but she started this spike, and had she been pushed with the proper nutrients and water, probably would already be in spike. I'm just glad that I didn't lose the spike. She's got 1, 2, 3, so she ended up growing 4 new growths. And then this growth here is her 5th new growth that she bloomed off of. So I expect that she should be blooming off of each new growth moving forward. I just have to remember, because she is heavy bark and then moss, I just have to remember to water her a little more often than I have been to kind of help get her caught back up. And then, let's see, here's the other Oncidium Twinkle here. And as you can see, I just recently moved her over here, but you can see all of this leaf tip dieback here. Hopefully you can see that with the glare. She does have 1 new little growth right here that I'm hoping will save her, and she does have some roots coming. So let's see. I don't keep this one too wet because, again, there's not a lot of roots in there yet. And now that I do see some active root growth, can you see it in there? I will probably just give her a little flush of water like every other day or so, just to kind of encourage those new roots to go down. And then the Miltoniopsis that I got back in May at Trader Joe's, I, before surgery, put it in an all moss because one of these growths, I can't remember which one because it's actually 2 pieces, one of these growths was showing some sign of root growth. So I did not want to lose that. So she is moss, and then just that top layer is bark. So far, so good. The bulbs are not desiccating. And I keep this damp. It's not wet. It's just barely wet. Like if you touch it, it's damp. It's not even wet. And I'm doing that until I can see some good roots. And I have it over here because this is like the furthest. She sits right here. It's the coolest part of the living room. So I know Miltoniopsis prefer cool over warm, with the heat on right now, I wanted to get it in the coolest section of the home. And right now, until my door gets replaced in April, there is a slight little draft, even though we have that weather stripping. It's just cool enough over here where this is the coolest, and it doesn't affect them per se as far as like killing them because it's too cold. Then, good news, guys, is the Wilsonera, which one is this? Martian Leatherberry Luscious. So look what we have. We have a growth that is continuing and not constantined. Well, it's got a little constantining right here, but isn't. So this is the one that, I don't know if you remember in the failures video, she has one more season to do something, even if it's just develop a full growth. I don't even want her to bloom. I just want her to develop a full growth without losing it. So we shall see. But again, roots in the pot, so fingers crossed. Let me look. Let's be a little nosy here. I don't see any root growth on the new growth yet, but fingers crossed this new growth does not die, because this is about the time where if it's going to desiccate, it's going to desiccate at this point here. Let's see. Over here we have the Isabella Lunar Eclipse. So she has finished off these two growths right here for 2022. And I don't see any new growth. I don't expect her to bloom simply because look how much smaller these growths are compared to this one here. However, she is still working on finishing the bulb. So she has, like this one here, you can tell is still working on the bulb itself. This one she's almost done with. So she could bloom. I don't expect her to bloom. Now on the next growth, I do kind of expect some blooms because she will have settled in. And again, she is in a bark and moss mixture, kind of an even layering of each. Then this is the No ID Oncidium that we have in the clay pot. It is basically mainly moss with just a little bit of small bark chips throughout. Look at all the new growth in there. And so looking at it earlier, looks like this one here is going to actually mature this growth. So that's exciting. I've got a couple of more new growths here, lots of root activity. So fingers crossed, this one develops a full bulb as well. Like I said, my goal this year on some of these Oncidiums is just to get a full growth. Like I don't even care if they bloom. I just want a full growth. And then last but not least is my No ID Oncidium that I got in May of 2022 for my anniversary from our local Trader Joe's, which is a natural grocery store here for those of you who don't know. So this spike was working on spiking. She did bloom out and it was lovely to watch. And the good thing is she's going to have another spike right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if I can get in there. But we're going to have, there it is. Do you see it? So we're going to have another spike, and this spike will probably be open and blooming as this one here fades off, but she is extending her spike a little bit. Can you see this? A few more blooms coming. And these lasted, last time I got her right as she was opening, and they lasted about a month and a half, 2 months. So it took this spike about a month and a half to fully develop and spike. So hoping that once she goes off, she will come along. And then these two should bloom together because they're in almost the same process of growth. And then we have one more new growth right here coming. So I did just repot her in, what was it, in June of 2022, and I may have to repot her after this growth depending on how that bulb develops. Isn't she just, look at that. They're not fragrant. Let's see. Well, wait a minute. Let me see. No, they're not fragrant. I thought I smelled something, but it was just the wet media that I was smelling. Isn't she just gorgeous? And we're just going to end it on this one here. Let me know what you think these ladies are going to do. And do you think Wilsonera, let's do a poll. Do you think Wilsonera is going to develop that bulb all the way, or do you think she's going to drop it, because I will tell you right now, I'm going on record that if this bulb fails or this growth fails, this whole plant will just go into the bin. We're not waiting the full season. She's got this growth right here to show me that she wants to stay. Everybody have a beautiful day. Again, I hope your new year is going well. I'll see you guys on the next one.